single time she went through her presentation, I was learning something new. These are really great people to learn from, and there's so much to focus on these topics. So I will make sure that we include as much of this information as possible in our recap emails. Please take the time to go through the material on your own, and feel free to reach out to Emily or Ellie if you have any more questions that come up. They're both very happy to help with anything that you guys think of. Just to do a really quick debrief, did anybody have any particularly insightful thoughts or really major takeaways that they want to share with the big group? Now would be the time to share.
So I was in group 1, and I guess something that like really stood out to me was like how gender based it was, because I think in every single thing, like every different presentation, it was a common theme of like how a lot of stuff always falls on women, whether it's like birth control or abortion or like pregnancy, because we were talking about how like even in like starting out with like birth control and everything. I specifically remember it was like 83% of men would be willing to try birth control, like hormonal birth control, but there's just so little research and effort put into it, which is, it's just like, it just seems really interesting. And then even with like stuff like pregnancy, I noticed like a lot of times like it falls on the mothers to find proper nutrition and everything else. And I just thought that was really interesting that it seems very kind of just unequal.
And I had kind of a similar thought, like we were in the same group actually, but just kind of the connection between like our last group was just about infant mortality, and how she said a lot of things are based on nutrition, and people in lower socioeconomic like levels, they don't have access to that stuff. And yet at the same time it falls on the woman, like there's like the stigma against abortions, right? And so a woman can't get an abortion because maybe she just doesn't want it, maybe she doesn't feel like she can afford it, or there's so many different reasons for that. But yet if that's one of her reasons and she can't get one, and she could be dropped in the 3rd trimester as a patient for not doing the right things in pregnancy, and a pregnancy she was forced to have, just doesn't seem right, you know?
Yeah, those are both excellent points. I'm glad you guys got so much out of those presentations. Go.
I was gonna say, I don't want to like interject, but I just wanted to say, hell yeah, late-term abortions are not a thing. That's a stigmatizing term that was made up by anti-choicers for the exact reasons that you demonstrated. No one should be shamed for when they decide to continue or terminate a pregnancy or why they do it. And I think your example demonstrated that very eloquently.
With that, I think we can go into ending our meeting. Maria, if you want to take it away.
Sure thing. And I just wanted to say a quick thank you again for Emily and Elena coming and taking time out of their busy schedules to chat with us on their free Sunday nights. So just a quick round of applause to Elena and Emily, and for the amazing, incredible work that they're doing as providers. Aw, we can like put little hearts as the reaction now on Zoom. So with that, it's time to end our meeting. We'll have some quick announcements that are important, but we'll do our collective breath first. So does anybody have a reflection or a quote that they would like to share in the chat that we can take a breath on? Dang, I feel like usually at least 2 people are already jumping on it. Oh, here we go. I knew Jonathan wouldn't fail us.
So quick disclaimer, not really a quote. I pulled this straight from Ellie's last slide, but she didn't get a chance to present. I thought it was really important. She listed a lot of ways that you can actively get involved in reproductive justice, and I think that's really good information for everyone to have. So Ellie, if you want to give like a quick rundown of what that is, or if you just want people to reflect on it, that works as well.
Yeah, I can. So I think the first thing is abortion stigma is everywhere. It's in our media, it's in our institutions, like even in Planned Parenthood, abortion stigma is there because we have to have our abortion be separate from other types of providing. So just like recognizing it when you see it and then addressing it and being like, hey, that's cool. That too is just owning your story, whether you've had an abortion or you've experienced pregnancy or endometriosis or other kinds of reproductive health issues or reproductive justice issues. I think it's really important to just reflect on what brings you to this work, even just more broadly in social justice as a Globe Matter. There's something that brought you here on your Sunday evening, and that's something that's really special. So to own it and share it because it does make a difference for people and it does inspire others. The other thing too is you can register with groups NARAL, Planned Parenthood, and urge to join their action. So they'll send like text updates and stuff, and you can sign petitions, and they'll urge you to call your senators and give you templates. And so it's a very easy way to take action, and you can always get more involved from there. And then I only talked about stuff in the United States. There are groups like the International Planned Parenthood Federation, which, disclaimer, is not associated with Planned Parenthood in the US, but they do work surrounding global reproductive rights issues. And so that's a really good place to learn. And GlobeMed, of course, there's partner organizations that probably focus on this, and that's a place to learn too. And then if you want to make abortion access easier, the best thing you can do is donate to an abortion fund. And then as patients and providers, like we experience a lot of harassment. People leave stuff in my car, and the protesters will yell at patients and be really, really rude. And so you can like drop them off, and we'll read them obviously and make sure they're safe. But there's a group at UC, I think it's called PP Gen A, and they're working on making like care packages for patients and writing little notes for them. And then people sometimes will write like things, notes and stuff. And even though 30 days or when our patients are to have some solidarity, I think is really great. These are my action items. I'm sure there's plenty more you can do, but I just wanted to share.
Thank you, Elena.
Not interested in advocating for others. That's not everybody's thing. You can still be in for yourself. And that is incredibly important because you're going to be going to doctor's visits your entire life. And
thank you to both of you. And I just remembered a reflection question that I think will help to tie in all of these wonderful perspectives and the abundance of what we can learn. But it's, what does radical empathy mean to you? So think about that in terms of what we talked about today. And with that, I will invite you all to soften your gaze or close your eyes. And if you are able to unmute yourself so that we can take a breath together, you can go ahead and take a breath in and exhale. Awesome. Thank you again. So I said before, we do have some important announcements. So co-president elections are next week. Shaylin and I are going to be done for the year, which is absolutely insane. Not that quick though, obviously we'll still be around for the rest of it. But if you are interested, so loud, if you are interested in choosing your next co-presidents, then make sure that you show up to our meeting. The way that it works is that so our candidates will be announced tomorrow this week, but the way that it works is that a candidate must have a year's of experience on eBoard. So you'll find out soon who those people are. We will send out a quick blurb about their platform points, but they'll also be presenting to us about their platform. And if we have more than 2 candidates, then the way that the voting works is that you'll have the opportunity to vote one candidate and they will win the popular vote and become a president. And the second co-president is elected by Shaylin and I as the best fit for the dynamic that is going to be going on. So if you have any questions or concerns about that process, I think it's been the most, it's made the most sense and worked the past few years. But if you have any questions, concerns, please feel free to hit Shaylin and I up about that. So yes, show up next week. All right. And then, of course, our chai and chat for this week is going to be with Anish and Harnoor from 6 to 7 this Wednesday. We'll send out the link in our recap email with that information. Shout out to Anish for sending me this photo of himself to share. So yes, be there if you're interested in eBoard or getting to know people. And then I'm going to pass it off to Kirtana, who has another exciting announcement. We have so much to talk about today.
Yeah, so thank you. So this week, probably have already heard this from your committee leaders as you guys are setting goals. So this week, in order to celebrate International Women's Day as well as National Women's Month, we're doing a Venmo bingo board starting from tomorrow and running till Friday. So hopefully you've already talked this with your committee to set a goal for yourself based on the number of people in your committee, as well as introduce yourself to this new challenge. So this challenge that we have on this Venmo bingo is something that you pick out yourself, what you're comfortable with. What it is, every time someone donates for you for $10, be able to share that challenge on your Instagram story. We highly encourage you all to participate and spread awareness on your Instagram stories. Hopefully friends and family will donate to this amazing cause. And tomorrow, I think, is campaigns committee and communications committee time for Venmo bingo. So each day there should be new committee. And we'll get to see some fun challenges on everyone's Instagram story.
Yay, thank you campaigns for putting this together. This is obviously going to be like all the profits that we receive from this campaign are going to go towards building baskets for benefit dinner, and any leftovers will go directly towards our fundraising goal with SAW. So just another reminder, virtual benefit night, it's coming up. We release ticketing. We'll keep bothering you with information about that, but y'all really should go because it's about to be an incredible night. And that's all, folks. If you were in this video recording, which you were because we record all our meetings, and you don't want to be featured in the YouTube channel recording or post, then just shoot Shaylin or I a quick message. Other than that, yes, this is it. Shaylin's gonna break us up into our committee rooms now.
Yes, and it looks like we don't have a ton of time. So committee leaders, please remember to try to keep this one super short so we can go ahead and start eBoard and be respectful of everyone's time. But I will go ahead and open the room.